He woke up every morning already exhausted. Not because his body was tired, but because his mind never gave him a moment of peace. Before his feet even touched the floor, his thoughts were already racing. Self-doubt, the fear of failure, replaying every mistake from yesterday, and worrying about things that hadn't even happened yet. It was a constant storm inside his head. He desperately wanted to improve his life, to break free from this cycle. But every time he tried to start something new, his own mind would pull him right back into inaction. Motivation would strike like a flash of lightning, a sudden burst of energy and excitement, but it would disappear just as quickly, leaving him feeling even more frustrated and stuck than before. He was a consumer of motivation. He'd scroll through social media, watch hours of motivational videos, save inspiring quotes, and wait for that perfect mood, that perfect surge of energy to finally act on his goals. But nothing ever lasted. The high would fade, and he'd be left right where he started. It felt like his mind was in complete control, and he was just a passenger, reacting to its every whim and fear. One evening, after another day lost to procrastination and mental noise, he wandered into a small, unassuming local gym. He wasn't there to train seriously, not really. He was just looking for an escape, a way to silence the relentless chatter in his head for an hour or two. That's where he first noticed the coach. He was an older man, maybe in his late 60s, with a quiet, calm presence. There was nothing flashy about him, but he moved with a sense of purpose and focus. He carried a deep, earned confidence that didn't need any words. The man started a workout, half-heartedly going through the motions. The resistance wasn't just in the weights. It was in his own head. Every rep was a battle. You're too tired for this. You're not strong enough. What's the point? You can just quit and go home. Halfway through, he was ready to give up, completely defeated by the internal monologue. Just as he was about to drop the weights and walk out, the old coach walked over. He didn't offer a pep talk or a shout of encouragement. He just looked at him calmly and said something incredibly simple. Your problem, Aizung, your body. It's that you negotiate with your mind. That single sentence hit him harder than any motivational speech he had ever heard. It cut through all the noise. Negotiate with his mind? He'd never thought of it that way, but it was exactly what he was doing every single day about everything. The coach continued, explaining that the mind, by its very nature, is designed to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. It's a survival mechanism. It wants to keep you safe in the familiar zone. It's not designed for growth, because growth is inherently uncomfortable. If you listen to it every time it complains or makes an excuse, it will always choose the easy way out. It will always choose to stay the same. From that day forward, the coach gave him one, and only one, rule. He said, stop asking yourself how you feel. Start asking what needs to be done. There was no hype. No talk of finding your passion or waiting for inspiration. Just that one guiding principle. Discipline. The new routine was brutally simple. Wake up at the same time every single day, no matter how tired he felt. Train on the scheduled days, even when his mind screamed no. Sit down and finish a task, even when his focus felt scattered and the urge to procrastinate was overwhelming. The first few weeks were painful. It felt like a war. His mind, so used to being in charge, rebelled with everything it had. It threw every excuse in the book at him. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. You'll feel better then. This is pointless. It's not working. It begged for comfort, for delay, for the familiar path of least resistance. But he held on to the coach's words. He stopped negotiating. When the thought, I'm too tired, popped up, he didn't argue with it. He just put on his gym shoes. When the feeling of, I don't want to, surfaced, he just opened his laptop and started working. He acknowledged the thoughts, but he refused to obey them. And then something strange and wonderful began to happen. The power of the excuses started to fade. He realized a profound truth. He didn't need to control every single thought that entered his mind. He just needed to stop letting those thoughts control him. He just needed to stop obeying them. The weeks turned into months. The chaotic storm in his mind slowly, gradually began to settle. The constant, frantic energy transformed into a calm, focused clarity. Don't get me wrong, the negative thoughts didn't just vanish forever. The doubts still came. The fears still whispered in his ear, but they no longer had a grip on him. His actions were no longer dictated by his fleeting feelings. One day, he looked in the mirror, and it wasn't a conscious moment of realization, but a slow, dawning awareness. The person looking back wasn't the same man who was a slave to his own thoughts. He set the agenda for his day, not his anxieties. He had learned to separate his feelings from his actions. He could feel tired and still go for a run. He could feel uninspired and still write a chapter. He could feel scared and still make the call. The feeling was just a suggestion from his mind, not a command. That is the quiet, unglamorous, and profound power of discipline. That's what happens when you stop waiting for the perfect feeling and start training your mind to follow your will. It's not about winning a war against your mind. It's about teaching it who's in charge. It's about building a life based not on how you feel, but on who you want to become. And it starts with one simple choice. Stop negotiating and just do the work. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on building a stronger mind.